Questions?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming out today as well, ladies, guys. Excited, tempered excitement this time around. As Mike mentioned, and somewhat incorrectly, we have 40 days. We have a rule different than the guys. We have 40 days in which we can practice 30 times. That could have started for us a week ago yesterday, but we didn't start practice until Sunday. The reason for that is we have just an unbelievable number of things going on individually with our players, sprained ankles, pulled back muscles, and 2 or 3 cases of bad colds or borderline flus. So, we felt like rather than go out and start shorthanded and then have to be in a position to where we needed to catch people up who had missed practice, we'd be better off just to take some of those 10 off days on the front end, which we did. Got started Sunday. It was a good workout. It was uplifting to me because the numbers are good. In terms of depth, we probably have the deepest roster that we've had in a number of years, and that looks very good, and I think it is going to benefit us as we go down the road. I'm excited. I'm excited about this particular basketball team. I'm always excited to start practice, but I like this basketball team. I like this senior class. I like what they did during the off season. They worked extremely hard. I like the way that they've handled their business this fall as school has started. I like the way they talk. I like the way they walk. Their heads in the right place. They understand that this is their last year. They understand that while they have accomplished some good things in the past, we've also left some opportunities on the table in the past, and they're excited about their senior year. And I'm also excited about our freshman class because there's some talent there. It's obvious, and that talent is going to be able to step in and help us immediately game 1 of the upcoming season. So look forward to getting it started, to really getting into practice, getting some things done, and then to the beginning of the year.
Questions for Coach Landers? Also, I wanted to mention preseason polls are out. And ESPN.com had us at 9, and Wendy's had us at 11, so pretty high expectations there. Any questions for Coach Landers?
Coach, the past couple of seasons certainly haven't been up to your standards in terms of how it's gone in the postseason. How do you resolve the things that have happened? Clearly, you know the formula for getting there, and what makes you think that this year can be different?
Well, I differ with you a little bit. Year before last, we were in the Sweet 16, and we were beaten by the eventual national champion. It's not like we laid an egg there. Last year we went out in the first round. That's unusual, not acceptable. Your question though is what's happened, I guess, and how do we avoid that? You hear it, I think, probably from every coach that you talk to. I'm going to put a different spin on what I'm about to say. I coached roughly 25 years before we had a serious injury. That's crazy. That's unbelievable. That's unheard of. So I became somewhat spoiled and didn't even know it. I didn't sit around and think about it because I thought it was the norm. I thought that's what everybody was going through. Then in the past 10, 12 years, it's been injury after injury after injury. First thing, if you're going to compete anywhere close to your potential, I don't think that it probably doesn't matter what sport you're talking about. Your players have to be healthy. You know, and there's no way to guarantee that when you play shorthanded, when you go through stints in a season without key players. It takes a toll sometimes, and we've done this, Chip. Sometimes you go through those periods where you have players injured and out and win, and you think, boy, we were able to bridge that gap. But it sooner or later, it seems like it circles back around and catches up with you, the wear and tear that it has on everyone else. You know, trying to pull everything together. So the first thing I'd say to you in terms of our approach to this season is you know, the thing that we're hopeful for and we have very little control over is that we have good health and that we don't have serious injury. The second thing I'd say on the heels of that is if we do have injuries, that they're the kinds that we can recover from quickly and the kind that don't revisit you or aggravate you or slow you down throughout the year, because that's been a big part of what I think has happened to us in the past. It's taken our depth away and worn us down.
Seems like a lot of your depth this year is going to be freshmen.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel having to put that much into?
I'm excited, you know, because I think we have the right freshmen to do that. And I say that because we've worked with them in our individual workouts this fall. The freshman class is able, it's talented, it's receptive, it has a reasonably high basketball IQ, and it's very, very willing. You know, that group, I think, has a chance to be a special group of freshmen. There is no one of them that I look at and go, well, it's going to take a year or 2 years to get them ready to play. I think they're all going to be able to step out at different times during the season, and some very early, even in the first game, and make major contributions to our basketball team. So I'm excited about our freshmen. They look good.
How do they compare with your group of seniors occasionally?
Well, you know, I haven't thought about it. You asked the question, I'll think about it on the fly. How do they compare with the group of seniors that we have? They don't come in as ballyhooed. They don't come in as a top 5 recruiting class as that group did. But they're similar in that there's one of everything. You know, there's a 4-man, a 5-man, a 3-man, a 2-man, a 1-man. There's some versatility among them. At least 4 of them can play more than one position. So they're similar in that regard. And they're very, very, they have a high skill level. So they're similar to that class.
Andy, you've obviously known Pat Summitt for a long time. And how much have you spoken with her over the last year about what's going on? What's your thoughts on that?
You know, Pat and I, we've been friends for 4 years. And one of the things that I've made it a point to do is not call her to check on her, because I know her. And we're not alike in a lot of ways, but we're alike in that way. You know, if I'm banged up, I don't want somebody calling me, checking on me. I mean, I'll get over it if I'm just banged up. So I try not to do that. Yet every time that I have seen her, you know, we've visited, had short visits about how she's feeling and how she's doing with it. And the response has generally been consistent and the same, really. Every time, doing fine. But you know, that's not altogether true. I mean, I've seen her, I know her, and I feel for her, because I do think her illness has had an effect on her.
What do you make of that program and the league in general this year?
Well, I think Tennessee's a program that'll be in transition because of the coaching change and also because of the graduating class that they're graduating. I don't have a crystal ball, so I'm not going to predict how that transition is going to go. I just think that in many ways it's going to be very different. It will not be the same. I don't care how hard people try to make it the same or how much people want it to be the same. It won't be the same. That's not to say that it won't be good. It's not to say that it won't be as good. It's just going to be different because Tennessee's success for the last 36, 37 years has been built around Pat Summitt. And that won't be the case as we go forward. The league in general, I think you'll see some changes in the league. I think going into the year, most people would probably pick Kentucky as the team to beat. I think you'll have a number of very, very good teams. I think you'll have probably as many as 4 or 5 that could be ranked at some point during the season in the top 10. I think Texas A&M's presence will be felt right away because they're talented, they're good, they're experienced, they're well coached. So it'll be a different kind of year in the Southeastern Conference. I think that fans around the league probably need to study a little bit because the teams that you're accustomed to wanting to go see when they come to your town may not be the teams that you want to see this year. Those teams are changing, and they may change from now on.
Coach, obviously you lose Meredith off the team, and the rest of the lineup would appear fairly set. Does your lineup, you just plug somebody in for Meredith in that starting lineup, or is it radically different? What's your lineup going to look like?
Well, I think we have 4 positions, obviously that are solid, that have experienced starters coming back. But we have to evaluate as we go forward how the new people are doing in practice and what their potential is to make us a better basketball team. I'm not opposed to change. I'm not opposed to sitting a starter down and starting a freshman. I'm not opposed to moving those starters around to different positions maybe than they played last year. And all those thoughts, when I say I'm not opposed to, all those are thoughts and options that I believe to be on the table as we go forward. Will there be just one new starter? I don't know. I really don't.
Well, that will probably move on to Coach Fox. If anybody needs anything more,